All right, Nelson County. I am actually here at my office today. It's so exciting. Not here very often. However, I am here today. So just real quick, if you've never done a have the opportunity to chat and ask questions. And so you can feel free to do that, and I can see your questions pop up in the chat box. And so we are going to be chatting about Google Classroom and the updates that Google Classroom has pushed out. And so I have a list here of classroom updates that I'm going to go through. If you need any help on these, please feel free to reach out. Otherwise, you can look on the support.google.com and then go in the app for Google Classroom. And you can see right here, it has the September 2018 updates. So I do have some friends here. They sweet. Aw. Yay. They're so much fun. They were here for a library media specialist meeting. And so, anyways, so let's go ahead and get started. Sorry, that may have given you like, may have made you a little sick. Me like spinning around. All right. So let's go ahead and let's get started with Google Classroom. All right, so I am going to go ahead and screen share our Hangout. So here we go. All right, we should be screen sharing. Sweet. Okay. So Google Classroom has had quite of a facelift, I like to call it, over the summer. And some of you guys have emailed me saying, Jamie, where's this at? Where's this at? And so I wanted to go ahead and show you guys some of the new features, which are absolutely great features of Google Classroom. So first off, I did want to say that if you have an older classroom that you're still using, there is a way. It is kind of updated, but not fully updated. And I know that's kind of a pain, but that's true. So this is one of my old classrooms. So I'm going to go into that classroom, and you'll notice that I know that this is an old classroom because it does not have a classwork tab at the very top. And so to add that class work tab, you are going to go to the question mark that is in the bottom left-hand corner, and you will see where it says add classwork page. So you will want to add the classwork page there. What that does is it updates your old classroom into the new classroom format, so you don't always have to remember what type of classroom am I in? Am I in an old one or am I in a new one? It'll still keep all your assignments and all that good stuff. And you just literally click update, and then you'll notice that now I have a classwork page. So that is for your older classrooms. And really, I say older, but they actually, when they switch these over, I want to say, even if you created them right before school started, you may not have a classwork page. So go ahead, make sure you get that classwork page in there so all of your Google Classrooms can look alike. So let's talk a little bit about the new face of Google Classroom. And so you'll notice the one that I just hopped over, the classroom that I just hopped over to is actually an old classroom. And you'll see that because I don't have that classwork page. So let's go to one that I have a classwork page on. Let's see. I think I was just in Sphero here. Okay. So once I update this to have a classwork page, your plus sign on your stream is going to go away. If you want to make an announcement, announcements are shared right here. So you would click on where it says share any, share with your class. So you would make, this is where you would make announcements. So welcome to the new Google Classroom. Okay. So you can actually also assign it to multiple classrooms. That's all still there. And then just specific students, you can add things to it, whatever. But there's no longer a plus button in the stream. So just keep that in mind. Where the plus button has gone, that seems like it needs to be a song. Sorry. So where the plus button is now is under classwork. And so since this is the first time that I've added this, you'll see that it'll take me through and so forth. So under create, this is our new plus button. So under create, you actually have the choices of what you would like to create here. So this is where you're going to find your created assignment, created a question. The material I was so excited about because I was super bummed that the new Google Classroom did not have the About tab. That was normally where it says people, because I always put things in there that my kids would need weekly. And I was bummed because they didn't have this. But this week, like hot off the press this week, they actually added the material button. So that can almost be like your About tab where you put maybe a syllabus or you put digital choice board that maybe you use on a weekly or your students use on a weekly basis. So that is really nice to have that access there as well. So once you have this classwork page, you create your assignment, and it looks exactly the same way that it did in the they don't like to call it old Google Classroom. They like to call it classic Google Classroom. But anyway, so it looks exactly the same. You're the question exactly the same. And then the materials, like I said, you can still add topics if you want to add topics. And remember, it's really important to add topics so your kids aren't searching through and getting lost on the classwork page. So that's the easiest, that's the main thing. The main updates that they've pushed out. They are getting ready to release where you can create a Google form inside of Google Classroom. And so instead of having to go to Google Form and create the Google form, you would actually come to create. From what I understand, you'll come to create and it'll say quiz or it'll say form, and you will click on that. You'll create the form right in Google Classroom, so you're not having to go to Google Forms in your Drive, and it will create the quiz for you, and it will also lock where students, you can lock it where students can only see that screen when that quiz is open. So pretty interesting feature. I know Google has had a lot of requests for that from teachers, so pretty neat. That should be releasing, I'd say, within the next month or so. So the quiz feature. So you would just go create quiz, and it would look like it is a Google form, but it's all within Google Classroom. So another. This was in the About tab in the classic Google Classroom, and this is your Drive folder. So if you click this will actually take you to your Google Drive for this classroom. Just as a reminder that all of our Google Classrooms are stored in a classroom folder in our Drive, and that's where you will see all the assignments, all the kids' works, all the kids' work, and things like that. This is the calendar. So this is the Google Calendar. Just as a reminder, still the exact same thing, just in a different place. Anytime you make an assignment that has a due date, it adds it on to the student's calendar. So as long as they have it turned on in their little calendar, which it's default turned on. And so really they would have to turn it off. So that is the deal with the classwork page. As far as people, looks exactly the same. Pretty much exactly the same, I should say. This is where you add your collaborators for your co-teachers. And then this is also where you see what kids you have and so forth. You can still invite them this way. And this is one of the things that still a little bit bothers me, that if there is one thing, to find the class code, you go to the stream and you go to the About. And I was like, oh, it's the About tab. No, it's just about this classroom. So you go to the About, and then you will find the class code, and that's where you can make it in display mode or full screen mode. So the class code is actually in the stream under About. So that is an update compared to the classic Google Sites. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get into a classroom where I have some kids with assignments, and I'm going to open these up. One thing that another great feature of this is the grading page. So I am absolutely in love with the grading page. So I just clicked on the assignment, whatever assignment that I chose for the kids. And then when I open up this kid's assignment, then you are going to see that a couple of, well, actually a lot has changed. Normally just this assignment would show up. However, you can see where I can toggle between names here. So, and I can see who's turned it in and who hasn't, who's it's just assigned to. You can also see where I can grade it here. I can add private comments. And then there's a comment bank. So if you feel yourself writing the exact same comment on multiple assignments, you can create the comment, or you can click on the comment bank, add to the comment bank. So if I wanted to add, let's see, way to create questions with lots of answers. So open-ended questions. So I can click add, and then once it's added, then it's there. And if I go back, I can actually click the plus button, and it will, hang on just a second. Oh, see, this is a new feature for me. Copy to clipboard. There we go. Copy to the clipboard, and then you can paste it in the private comment. There you go. And then you could post it. So anyways, so great way, another really cool thing. You can also toggle between students here as well. So if I am ready, oh, it's because I didn't say it. There we go. Because I didn't post it. So when you make changes over here, make sure that you post whatever changes you've made over here. So you can toggle in between these as well. So just keep that in mind. And then if you actually want to go to the doc or to the slide deck or to whatever it may be, then over here next to the child's name, you'll see a square with an arrow, and you can click on that and it will take you to that kid's document if for some reason you need to see that assignment. So classwork has changed quite a bit when it comes to looking at kids' assignments and as a teacher. So I don't see anybody that has any questions. So if there are no other questions, I know I said I was going to do 30 minutes, but that really, let me check my list just to make sure. But I mean, the updates are pretty straightforward. Adding the materials to the classwork page. We talked about that, replacing the About tab. Add the classwork page to existing classes. So your already created classes, if you don't have that classwork page, how to do that, and you just go to the bottom left-hand corner. Easier posting on the stream page. So remember, the stream page has no plus sign anymore. And you just come up in the dialog box and go there for that. You can see right here, you would just go to, this is an old classroom. I haven't converted it and I'm not going to right now because it took a second to do it. And then when you are creating or editing a course, I guess we didn't talk about that. So let's talk about that. Creating and editing a course. You have a settings wheel up here. So in the settings wheel, oh, look, I'm finding something brand new here too. In the settings wheel, there's the class code as well. So you could go to the little about, and then some teachers like to turn the post and comment off. So this is where you would do that as well. And then the guardian summaries, if you have parents sign up, this is what their summary will look like. They can sign up and they can get emails, and that's actually kind of cool, especially with our one-to-one classrooms that are using Google Classroom a lot. But this is what it looks like. And once the parent signs up for one, anytime that any classroom that child is in, whether it's 5 classrooms or 1 classroom, it'll all be linked to the same exact email. So if you're not using that feature and including in the Guardians, make sure that you look into that and you do that. So let's see, I'm gonna go out to classes for a second. So I'm assuming that the last update was just making sure that you know that you can edit or reuse something, reuse a classroom just by changing the name, the course name, and deleting the students. So I know a couple of you guys have already done that this year because I've worked with you to do that. So I guess that's it. If you guys don't have any more, if I don't see any questions up here, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And I will definitely do my best to get back with you and answer your questions. Thanks so much for tuning in on this very quick update to Google Classroom, and we'll see you later.